Hi there, I'm Taylor Shuler with OPA, the Organization for Professional Astrology, and I am joined by Kira Sutherland. Welcome, Kira.
Hey, Taylor.
We're going to be talking about the
Mhm.
OPA 2024 retreat, Awakening, celebrating the Aquarian shift that's happening in October in Park City, Utah at the New Park Resorts. Amazing location. And Kira is going to be leading a track and giving a talk, and her track is titled Naturopathic Astrology and Your Natal Blueprint of Health. Can you tell us a little bit about that for those who might be interested in participating?
Yeah, sure. So this is a real kind of summary about our own natal chart, as well as a little bit on transits and progressions and kind of how to track your health going forward. But we're especially going to do a deep dive into, yeah, like the idea that your natal chart is this blueprint gifted to you by the heavens about your health and wellness and where your health challenges are. So we will cover the general things about medical astrology just to make sure everybody's on the same page. And then we're going to really dissect, the houses and the big three, but lots of other little things. And then how what's happening now or how we've progressed or transits is influencing that. But so learning lots about health, lots about ourselves, but also what to go do about it. Like, as a naturopath, I can't not give you things to go away with. So it's not just teaching you astrological technique and understanding about yourself, it's a kind of a facilitation of how to live a healthier life. Nothing extreme, but the little powerful things we can do to support our natal chart to feel better and live a healthier life, I guess, is how I would say
Amazing.
it. Yeah.
Sounds so practical. I wish I could join like today, right now, and do this right now. I'm like, I need
No.
this in my life.
I know. I'm ready. I'm really excited for this as an intensive. It's so fun. I teach a lot, weekly, but to do this as an intensive and really deep dive. I've done intensives 2 other times and it's just incredibly nourishing. And I may or may not be bringing some things along for people to actually make and to help kind of embody. It's a bit interactive, this lecture.
Amazing. I
Maybe a
love
few
it.
gifts to go away with.
Okay, that sounds
Yeah.
very nice. So,
Yeah.
for those who may not be familiar with you or are curious to learn more about you, can you talk a little bit about your experience in astrology and your background that and like perspective that you bring?
Sure. So I have an American accent, but some people think I still have an American accent, but I live in Australia. So I'm an Australian trained naturopath, not a American naturopath. It's a different qualification, but so I'm a naturopath, a herbalist, I should say, in the US, a nutritionist, a sports nutritionist, homeopath. So I have this huge eclectic traditional medicine background I've been, by the time we're together, I'll be on my 30th anniversary of clinical practice. And at the same time I was studying naturopathy, I formally studied astrology. I had been into it my whole life due to growing up in San Francisco with my mom's best friend being an astrologer. So I had that early exposure. But when I found astrology, I quickly found medical astrology. And so it's kind of the way I practice medical astrology has a lot of traditional techniques, but then it's overlaid with a more modern approach of what I like to say is it's health astrology that I'm practicing. So it's not so much just about what your illnesses are. I'm again more proactive. What do you have and what can we do with it? So yeah, my vein of medical astrology is very health focused to the future rather than just dissecting what's wrong with you, because you need to have I'm a practical person that needs things for people to go do. So yeah, so it's a really, for me, medical astrology is how I practice like a mind body medicine. It gives me the tools to tell people what to use or what to do. And if we can't do things physically, we have that beauty for astrologers that we can see the emotional and the mental, the karmic kind of patterns, and we can work on those rather than the physical at times, because sometimes we can't change the physical. So I use it like a mind body medicine.
I love it. So
Does that make
speaking
any sense, my big explanation?
Absolutely. And
Okay,
speaking of
good.
the
Ugh,
mind-body connection and medicine, a talk that you're giving on day 2 of the retreat is called Stress
yeah,
and the Rising Sign.
yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that is one of my favorite things. The rising sign in medical astrology, the rising sign, when we talk about in, as I say, regular astrology, we talk about it as the mask we wear, the filter we put things through. But in medical astrology, your rising sign has rulership of your actual physical form. And the way I see the rising sign is it's like your shield, like if we were all warriors and we're going into battle in life, things coming at us. Our rising sign is kind of this shield that comes into contact first with all the stress of life. And so it becomes this pivotal point that we need to nourish. And when stressed, we react with our rising sign. And so that's why it becomes this sensitive, often the weakest point of our chart medically is our rising sign. So it's a lecture, just a short lecture on teaching everybody about that physically and the things, again, practical things we can do to support our rising sign, which is just always under the pressure cooker.
Wonderful.
Mm.
So for
Mm.
those who might be interested in joining your track, what level of experience do you find is helpful?
Yeah, like super easy if you're an advanced or an intermediate astrologer. Obviously, that's just simple. Look, beginner astrologers, as long as they know the signs, the planets, they need to understand what an aspect and what a transit is. We can bring them along on progressions if that's a problem, but you can be a pretty baby astrologer and get away with it's not going to be simple. Like for advanced people, they're not going to be bored, but beginners aren't going to overly get lost either, because we all have a physical body and we all have our health. And so yeah, it's I actually think it would be okay for all levels. Intermediate and beyond is probably quicker to comprehend, but we can bring the beginners on.
Amazing. So
Yeah,
as long as you know how to read a chart, basically, like what a
yeah,
zodiac sign is, what the planets are,
yeah,
basic aspects, it sounds like this could be a
yeah.
good fit for you.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't have to be overly technical, because medical astrology for, unless you're a health practitioner, you have to get all the body bits. And so there's this whole other learning about what the rulerships are. So it doesn't get taught at a really advanced level in a big workshop like that, unless everyone's already been through a lot. So yeah, it's really, yeah, it's practical and will work for every level.
Brilliant. I love that it's practical. It's also at an amazing resort. I mentioned before, the New Park Resorts in Park City, Utah. It's a gorgeous environment. There's a lot of nature around and
Mm.
hiking. Like you can see here, we've got some
Yeah.
mountains in the background. There's really good food. It's an intimate setting. It's pretty small. I don't think there's going to be more than 80 people there. So if you're interested in finding other people who speak the language of astrology and fostering that connection, this is definitely the retreat in the space for you. And if you're connecting with Kira and with medical
Mm.
astrology, definitely sign up for her track. Any last thoughts before we go, Kira?
I'm just super excited. I like the mountains are my go-to place. So I'm flying in a couple days early and just staying at the resort to go on lots of hikes and because I have to get over my jet lag.
Yeah.
So no, I'm super excited. Yeah, please come join me. We're gonna, yeah, deep dive on our health, which we should all be focusing on,
It's going to
especially
be,
with North Node and Aries. Mm,
yes, that's so true. It's going to be an
mm,
amazing, magical time. So thanks for watching
yeah.
and hope you connect with Kira, and you can go to opaastrology.org to sign up. Thanks, everyone.